How to build your FPL Gameweek 1 team. We will be covering the FPL Force's team building model, as well as get a tip from the FPL Force itself in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. So here's a stat for you guys. Over 70% of you guys watching are not subscribed. Now, let's make a deal. In the next few minutes, if you guys get the value that you're looking for from this video, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. It would honestly make a huge difference in helping me and my one-man team, bringing you guys more content throughout the season. So, sounds like a deal? Let's get into it. All right, guys, you know how we do. So without further ado, let's get into it. My FPL team building model. Guys, first things first, you have to start off with the fixtures. Look at the fixtures, analyze them, see who has a great fixture run. Green fixtures, especially also at home, that really helps when it comes to also looking at which players you can play in terms of rotating, whether it be attacking or defensive as well. And it's the fixtures which will then really help you in planning your next level of the team building model, which is your chip strategy. Look at the fixtures and start to decide and have an idea as to where you will play certain chips, because it will let you know where you will actually start to dead end, how long you need to manage your team, as well as with certain chips like the free hit, where you can actually build your team to a certain point and know that you don't have to worry about it then, as well as where you can start to roll over transfers in certain places as well. From there as well, then you will then know how to structure your actual team. Now, the structuring tier really focuses a lot more also on price pointing in certain positions. So for example, in the defensive line, our highest price point is 6.0. So it's really always good to have a 6.0. That way, you know, when somebody who is lower really ticks off, then it's always easy for you to drop down to them. If you're going to fill up your defense with just 4.5s and 4.0, and somebody who's at 6 million really kicks off, then it's going to take a lot of moves for you. In fact, almost doing surgery on your team and transfers and maybe even hits to actually then take players out and put them in and bring that 6 million in as well. So always try and structure your team price point wise. That way you don't need to make too many moves in order to get a certain price point bracket. Then this really starts to take you to your final point. I say captaincy because you'll then start to be able to pick your players once you've really known in terms of who you want in what price bracket, and maybe as well in future where you can move, but also who is mostly going to be your talisman in your team, your captaincy. Looking at the fixtures, having your chip strategy, your structure. From there, you'll be able to see, wow, with this rotation, I can captain this player or that player. Of course, you're going to need the big players as well in there, whom you might just captain all the way. But let's take a deep dive into it. Before we do that, let's hear what the FPL Force has to say about building your team.
Silence as the FPL Force brings wisdom. Start with the fixtures and not with the fear of missing out. In game week 1, every manager is tempted by shiny names, but the Force sees patterns, not hype. Scan the opening 5 to 6 fixtures using your fixture difficulty rating matrix. Target teams with soft landings and home-heavy runs. It's not just about picking good players. It's about picking good battles. Build the spine of your team around players from clubs with favorable fixtures even if they are not the most popular picks. They will earn you consistent points while others chase shadows. This is the way of the Force. May the green arrows be with you.
All right. I think reinforcement there really when it comes to the FPL Force. And let's start off there really with the fixtures so you can see what the FPL Force and I also mean. Now looking at the fixtures, we want to see who really has a more favorable fixture. I think here we'll start off in just looking at Arsenal and being like, okay, cool. In their first 3 fixtures, they're playing Man United, Leeds, Liverpool. So 1 green fixture out of 2 away to Man United and Liverpool. As much as Arsenal is good, you would prefer them to have a lot easier fixture. For example, if you look at, who can we say? I think in this example, I think Brighton has a lot more favorable 2 fixtures in the beginning, which is Fulham at home and then Everton as well. In terms of team and skill level, they're a lot better than them. Then at least the hard fixture they have is Man City at home as well. Then looking past that, they have Bournemouth and they have Tottenham at home as well. So those are fixtures you can see like they definitely do have and they can also manage as well. So in this case, you would rather prefer some Brighton assets when it comes to the first few fixtures. I think always remember and look at your team in terms of what they're capable of and what they're known for as well. Try not to be too biased. For example, I'm an Arsenal man, but I don't have any Arsenal players in my team in my first team draft because I know that Man United fixture can be tricky. The Liverpool fixture will be tricky. Nottingham Forest is a good team. Man City is a good team. Newcastle is a good team. Those first 6 fixtures are not looking good for Arsenal, and I don't want to just have one good fixture out of all of those fixtures. And always looking to be rotating my players. I don't want to rotate Arsenal players. So I'd rather go for a team that doesn't necessarily need rotation that much. Like Aston Villa, once that Newcastle game is done, they have Brentford, which is a good fixture. They have Crystal Palace at home, which is a lot more favorable. They can handle Everton. They got Sunderland, and then 2 home fixtures against Fulham and Burnley. So look at the fixtures, see who has a good run versus who has a bad run, and then work out where you can actually have rotations there. Work out where you can actually have favorable rotations when it comes to attacking or defensive plays basically. So that is how you analyze your fixtures, and also looking at where you can play your specific chips as well in terms of the players that you will have or you're planning to have, where it really aligns. If it comes to, for example, you want to play a triple captain and you're looking and you're targeting say Burnley, then look at, okay, cool, I feel like Burnley plays Man City in Gameweek 6. If you don't have a Manchester City player, plan to bring him in by Gameweek 6, or you're holding that Manchester City player like Haaland to captain him in that Gameweek 6 when they're playing Burnley at Man City. So look at those things where you can triple captain them, where you can bench boost, where you want to bench boost. Fixtures really start to turn a lot better for teams like Game Week 7 going on. So look at the fixture turns and all of that stuff, and then start to also incorporate really your chip strategy as well. Now when it comes to chips, know what chips we have. Things are always changing every single season. So for the example, this season we've got double chips, so we got 2 of all the chips, and there's no what previously used to be an assistant manager. So always look at what chips there are and plan around with the fixtures as well, and be able to actually use those chips. And when it comes to the chips, the most important thing about it, which is why I have this little section on this one, is it's not about just playing the chip for the sake of playing it or because everyone else is playing it. rather try and play the chip in the most effective scenario of a game week where that chip is highly impactful. For example, the triple captain. Most of the chips really will be more effective to be played in a double game week. So, excuse me, I just need to cough. Alright, I'm back. Talking too much, just drying my throat, had some water, carry on. As I was saying, a lot of the chips are going to be more effective in a double game week, like the triple captain, the bench boost as well. And I think I'm going to use the free hits as an example. I've seen this in the community where a lot of managers prefer to use free hit to escape difficult fixtures. Let me ask you this. Do you think you'll get more points from a free hit if you played it in a time where the big six were all playing like easy fixtures, bottom 3, bottom 6 per se, and you could pick all of those players? Free hits, you pick all the players you want from the big six. Cool. Do you think you'll get more points there, or do you think you'll get more points in a place where the big teams are not playing? You know, say 3 out of the big 6 are not playing, and the other teams that are playing are also big, you know, top half teams as well, and so you're using it to really avoid blank game weeks. If you ask me, I think you're going to get more points when you're basically selecting from an entire pool of players who are going to be playing even better fixtures as well. So I always say, look at the best scenario in which you can play that chip, and then play it there really. And it's the same thing with the triple captain. Even if it's not a double game week, play it in the best fixture time, but also a player who's in form, and that's the most important when it comes to the triple captain. Play it on a player who's in form, then you know if it goes wrong, hey, he was in form and it just wasn't the day. Bench boost, I just feel, of course, with it being double, I think you've sort of got given a free hit with bench boost in game week 1, rather than having to sort of try and maneuver your way through the first 19 game weeks to try and figure out a way to play it then, and also put your wild card then, and time strategy, not for me. But that's chip strategy. Let's move on. Structure, I think we've really tipped on it, I think, enough really. I think it's more so captaincy, because we can touch on it as well over here. When it comes to team structure, I mentioned making sure you get a high price point, that way you can actually jump down. This is just a graphic from the previous seasons, but within structure you also always want to figure out who's going to be your premiums. Are you going to have 2 premiums, 3 premiums, and build the team really around that as well, so that way you can also move in between the premiums with the premiums. So for example, this season I believe Cole Palmer is 10.5, I think Saka is 10. So Cole Palmer has Saka has a Man United in the first game week, and Leicester in the second Leeds in the second game week. And if you want to, you can move from a Cole Palmer down to a Saka, which is very easy, and that's in really one transfer. Whereas if you had it the other way around, you would need sort of 2 transfers to do it, unless you have money in the bank. And so, look at which premiums you want to go with and build the team around it. In the past few years, it's really been Haaland or Salah type of drafts. But if you pick players with good goal involvement, really top 3 within their team, I think a team full of that, which is impossible because you don't have that type of budget, then you sort of can somewhat cover, and of course with the best captaincy picks. And I say this because usually your captain with the Haaland and Salah draft is going to be Haaland or Salah, and if you don't have them, then you have your captaincy very much has to be on point. And when I say your captaincy, I mean whoever you put your captaincy on, whether it's Palmer, whether it's Saka, whether it's Mamouche, or whoever's you got in your team. It doesn't always have to be the most expensive player, but it has to be the player who's always highly involved in goals and play. So yeah, just always think about that when you're building your team. Now, I know you're wondering, Cat, you got all this knowledge in building a team. Dog, I want to know what your team is actually like. Well, if you're really interested in my team, I have done a video for you guys to check out right over there. That is my team draft currently right now, and I am playing the bench boost. Plus, my team draft does not have Haaland or Salah. So check it out. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Really would appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.